Today I'm going to talk about the dynamic between the abuser and the victim. Some very, very insightful ideas I will be covering today. But before I get into it, I just wanted to tell you that today is my twins' birthday. They turned 11 years old. My precious twins turned 11, and their Hebrew and secular birthdays fell on the same day. It's worth noting that when a person turns 11, their Hebrew and secular birthday falls on the same day, and when they turn 41 as well. I turned 41 and my Hebrew and secular birthday fell on the same day, and my twins turned 11 and their Hebrew and secular birthday fell on the same day. Now I'm going to talk about today's topic, today's message. Today's topic is all about the dynamic, the relationship between the abuser and the victim. I'm going to get right into it. So many people hurt and abuse others because they are struggling with their own mental health issues. So many abusers are past victims of their own broken and fractured wounds, mental wounds, shall we say. They found their inner strength, which is what recovering from abuse actually does to you. Nonetheless, because it's not perceived as acceptable, they prefer to let it out in an adverse way by hurting others, and therefore they hence groom a victim. A lot of people barely understand where the abuser comes from. A lot of people encourage the belief that shunning an abuser and hugging a victim and giving them sympathy for life is the only way forward. Encouraging victims to remain committed to their victimhood status, they see that as a productive approach which breeds the best results. Thing is that from my life experience, I've seen that it's just not so. Shunning the bully whilst ignoring the inner dialogue going on in the bully's head is like ignoring a leak in your bedroom and just putting towels down instead of going up a ladder to actually check the source of the leak, or rather talk to your landlord if you're a tenant to get to the bottom of it. Ignoring that inner struggle the abuser is going through is the breeding ground for more abuse and more pain, more dependency and more codependency, and as a result, futility. Just think about it. Is it possible to be critical of someone else whilst being whole and complete and in sync within you? Is it possible to mock and ridicule somebody whilst feeling whole and complete deep inside of you? Yet a lot of people fail to realize this. Why is that? A lot of children are brought up to believe that life happens to them, not for them. If life happens to you, you are just a victim of your own circumstances, and you need to be supported when things go wrong. How are you to be supported? By believing that it was something terrible that happened to you and you were poor, innocent, and sadly a victim from the cause of a bad person. Now, go off to a therapist to further heal from this ordeal and believe that what happened to you was all bad and there's nothing within it which could help you grow and progress from. You were a victim of your circumstances and none of it was your fault. Instead of actually realizing that actually you had soft boundaries if you were a victim. And your boundaries were breached because you left those gates wide open. If you leave the gates of your backyard wide open, and somebody comes in and steals your bike, right? Would you go and say, "Oh, that's terrible. I'll carry on leaving the gate open, and I'll buy a new bike, but I'll just really hope that I don't have that bike stolen from me, because if it does get stolen from me, I'm just a victim. No, you wouldn't do that. You would make sure to lock up your bike and close those gates. It's exactly the same when it comes to this dynamic. Before I carry on, I want to make myself extremely clear here, as clear as I possibly can. A, I am only referring to verbal abuse, not physical abuse. Which one is actually worse? It's a pretty loaded and complicated topic with many layers, which I'm not going to get into today. So I'm not talking about physical abuse. B, I'm not talking here to people who have just gotten over abuse and they've yet to fully recover from the trauma. Going through trauma and abuse takes time to recover from, and I'm not gauging the pain, nor am I gauging the pain. And nor am I touching on the topic at all. I'm not talking about fresh victims. I'm only here discussing this topic to help people who already got through the layers and the stages of recovery, and they now want to go on to be holistic and independent from within them. You may think, well, if that's the case, then why am I dismissing therapists? And why am I dismissing the concept of going to a therapist? Allow me to make myself clear. I'm not actually discouraging anyone from going to therapy. I'm just trying to help people who already got past that stage and are now rethinking the whole process, wanting to become their own therapist in order to be independent and never again be dependent on another human being. Being dependent on another human being is not a healthy place to remain in for the rest of your existence. People go to therapists for years and years and years, and that is even after stages of getting over the abuse. They still carry on going to therapists for years and years, and no one gains from it. I've seen the work of therapists who wrote on this issue. They said nobody gains from the process of just going to therapists for years and years. And even the therapists feel like it's just futile. I've read the work of many therapists. Like I said, therapy is not productive in the long term if there's no benefits from it. I'm not saying everybody gets over trauma the same way. But if you're not feeling like you're moving along from A to B, it's time to reconsider your steps, and it's time to reconsider what you're doing. But again, that's just my perspective. And again, I'm only here to talk to people who are looking to get past the past trauma. Now, as for my own approach on the topic, I'm a firm believer in what Tony Robbins says. On the other side of rejection is success. It is really so. I've seen that in my own life. I'm all for supporting victims to stand on their own 2 feet and seeing what amazing gifts life has given them. I've seen so many stories on YouTube of people who have been through so much abuse, and today they are multimillionaires. Today they are dynamic speakers. Today they are confident, strong, resilient, courageous, and dominant in spirit from within. So don't think of your past victimhood status as something just terrible which needs to be ripped up. Allow me to carry on. I've been that victim. For many years, I lived in the mentality of I've been smashed and barely anyone cares. Until I realized that people don't care, because that which got me into that state of victimhood is actually my biggest strength. The very thing I wished to have removed from my identity, removed from my story, and for people to understand it in order for me to get rid of it, which is what I thought, was actually my strength, which I was trying to get rid of. People saw this, they tapped into it, and they also feared it. Yes, people fear the strengths, and they also fear that which they see good in others. I had to have it in order to survive and recover. And I had to have it in order to be the person I am today. So often we are led to believe that people don't care about us. And when it's really only down to something entirely different. It's down to our inner strength, which got us to where we are standing today. People like strong people, even if they appear to fight it. Do they actually see it like that? Will they actually admit that they see it like that? No. Will they even know? Will they all even know that that's what it's down to? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Not everything our conscious mind perceives does our subconscious mind perceive of as well. This, in and of itself, is a loaded topic, a layered topic, which can shed a lot of light on helping victims and abusers. Hence the parable I mentioned in the beginning of this video concerning the leek and the towels which the person put down. Should children be taught in school to dislike bullies and see them as evil and monstrous? It's a sensitive topic. It's a complicated issue. I obviously think, from my experience, that the answer is no. I've been that victim in school. I've been bullied in school. I've been bullied thereafter. So obviously I think the answer is no. And I think that my approach would make a real improvement in the world. That's what I think. Today I was talking to someone, a very, very confident person. He turns to me and he says, I've been having conversations with this friend of mine, a friend. I've been seeing him for a couple of months now. I don't know his name. He knows my name, but I don't know his name. I can't ask him his name now. It's just not right. It's been like this for a couple of months. I'm not going to ask him his name now. I said to the guy, you know something? You're actually believing into rules which you have created yourself. You believe in rules which don't serve you. It's sad because when you could call somebody by their name, you feel like a better friend to that person and you can get off the ground properly. So I tell the person, you're a confident person, but you're believing in rules which don't actually serve you. Thing is, and this is totally unrelated, and that is that bullies believe in rules which don't actually serve them. They believe in rules which are holding them back in a place of scarcity and a place of lack. In the same token, a victim. They've left their gates open, but because so many people told them that they should remain vulnerable and they should remain victims, like I've given you the parable with the bike, the guy who leaves the person, the woman or man who leaves the bike in the backyard, and somebody comes and steals it because the gate was open, and then they go and buy a new bike, leaving the backyard open again. Obviously, we know that was a silly thing to do. Same thing with the victim. Close your boundaries, seal them tight. You will not be victimized again. So people should focus on how to encourage victims to bolster their boundaries, to build their boundaries. And perhaps we should encourage victims to learn more about self-validation rather than encourage them to fall into years and years of therapy, which is all about recycled conversations, which often comes out of their own financial pockets. Validate yourself from the deepest place from within, and don't be dependent on anyone else in this world. And that is possibly the best tool you give a victim. You tell them, validate yourself from the deepest place from within, and do not rely on a single human being to validate you, to make you feel whole and complete. Love yourself even if no one else around you sees your strengths. Even if everyone else around you sees you as a flawed person. Continue to shine, even if people around you ignore you. People so often ignore you don't see your strengths because they have their own impairments. It's not your story, so let it go. Like I said, the subconscious mind plays a bigger role in people than they actually realize. That's today's video. If you like today's video, press the like button. And please feel free to share any comments in the comment section down below. I got awesome comments from amazing commenters here in the last few days. I feel so blessed. Such great tips you've been giving me with my great videos. I love you all. If you are my subscriber, why not press that bell notification next to the subscribe button so that you can see my videos right away as soon as they come out. I love you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. I love you.